Between North America and Europe, Oceania has struggled against the SPL teams. Now, this is a minor league team representative, Armada, so, you know, take that with a little asterisk mark.
Insignum's a minor league team, though, too. Totally, they took down an SPL team.
Sure, still an asterisk.
Okay, that's true. That's
the fourth seed SPL team.
That's true.
Why are you double voting? Aren't you North American, too?
I know. NA
Oh, don't be joining my side. We're all about the EUs here. I'm rooting for Oz. Hey, by the way, did you notice I said just before that game that I thought Athletico might do that one?
You did.
With the script, boys.
Did.
The script.
You wrote the script, and none of us have access to.
Into picks and bans we go again. Armada, after losing that game, get choice of first or second pick, and they've elected second pick here.
I think that Armada are probably going to leave a lot open, trying to leave 3 OP picks, quote-unquote, specifically maybe the Freya, Erlang, Shen, Pele, specifically, depending on what they want to double dip into.
I think that's the big question mark here is what is Armada going to leave open? They're going to take the Kuzenbo away in the first round.
Listen, I think Kuzenbo is secretly like sliding there. Agro said the other day, but I also feel the same way. Like, people are underestimating how much this god is doing in teamfights.
You know how you can tell if something is OP? Look at what Aurora's playing in ranked. If Aurora's playing it in ranked, it's OP and busted.
I'm not gonna lie, Aurora tryhards in ranked more than anyone I've ever known. He goes ham all the time. I mean, he may play some janky picks, but he always plays it to the best of its ability every time. Kuz is one of those on his list. He's a big fan of RTO2 and Terra. Actually, I believe both these teams think they're playing against Aurora right now with those first 3 bans. Freya, just in case.
Well, he also likes the Cerberus, but that's neither here nor there because Athletico getting some global pressure this time. Last time, or game number 1, it was Copebby piloting it out. So both of these junglers swapping their gods.
Oh, and Pele getting through as well. Now,
about it.
Where's this going to be, though? Is this going to be Pele solo?
Probably. We haven't seen Erlang solo in a hot minute, and I think that the early rotations from an Erlang Shen outweighs the early rotations from a Pele. Now, Pele will outfarm an Erlang Shen in the jungle, but you still want your jungle pressure making impacts on some of these side lanes.
Oh, I love these picks if they lock him in. The Odin's perfect anyway, causes problems for both Pele and Erlang Shen. And now the R-Push for the follow-up damage.
This is an immense amount of lockdown against just these 2 picks specifically. They were waiting for it. They picked the Mercury. They did so well in the Erlang Shen with Tekzy's last time. They said, you know what, let's take the Merc. Let's see if they'll both buy into those picks.
I think Armada need a Giannis to get away from this Odin Mercury. If you're going to get trapped in the cage and you don't have a Phantom, maybe some portals will go a long way.
That's a good call. A lot of people underestimate how the Giannis portal can really help you out of those tricky situations, I should say. Do you like the Jing Wei selection, though, especially with this ring being locked in?
It's a difficult one, but it's one of the safer hunters to really deal with this cage because she can use that airstrike, get right out of it, and then be able to reset herself for the fight here. Maybe not the best option for it. I would have liked the Ho Yi going up against this one. It does really well against the cage and making sure nobody can continue forward onto you, but Jing Wei is a safe option.
Armada with the next ban, it will be the Ares, so making sure that the Ares and Kuzenbo won't be available for Athletico this game. That's where a lot of their composition really drafted around, really, Tully, in terms of the control they brought to those team fights.
The cripple was obnoxious, considering that neither the Odin or the RDO could get out of the Nova Escape from Armada. So gonna strip that one away, making sure that at least when some of the ultimates are down from Pele, from the Jing Wei, that they don't have to burn into those relics.
Armada, and one more ban to go from them. A couple of shots in different directions so far. Still plenty of hunters available as well for Athletico to choose from. Could try and limit the pool there a little bit.
That's a possibility, but there's still so many hunters out there that you can pick up that I don't really think too many hunter bans are what's necessary. I mean, Chernobog's still available if they want to go with another one of the top hunter bans. Chernobog would be a good option, but aside from that, I think just getting rid of another tanky option, that'd be obnoxious to deal with.
Totally, Armada in this game. I mean, is this a hard game, 1 loss to shake? Are they going to struggle this time?
Absolutely. You were up basically the first 35 minutes of the game, and then you just lose the last 5 minutes of it just like that. That's got to hit hard, and Armada are not a team that have a lot of combined LAN experience. Cope has been to a few LANs in Season 3 when he was with Team Allegiance, but that was about 1, maybe 2 LANs tops, so I think that maybe losing an online game wouldn't have hurt them that badly because you're still in the comfort of your own home, but here now, you're in person, you have to discuss your feelings as much as that may be difficult for some people to do, and as a result...
I feel angry that we lost.
Yes, so that could come back to haunt them in game number 2.
Raijin being hovered over by Armada here. How do we like the Raijin pick?
I'm not 100% for the Raijin, but given that he is one of the last guys available, I like this Soul a bit more. It's more comfortable here for Sops. I think it's going to do a little bit better for him. But more importantly, I like the bans by Athletico. Because they pick up the Odin Opwash, they get rid of the Vulcan Zeus, probably two of the better gods to go right up against that comp.
Athletico then have 2 more picks. It's more than likely the duo lane they're after here, unless the Odin's going to be in the support role.
Yeah, support Odin would not surprise me. I think the last pick for Armada, considering they already have the Pele and the Erlang Shen, you could be seeing the Pele solo Erlang Shen into that jungle role, so need a Guardian to wrap things up.
Baron being hovered over, but I'm not so sold on this pick right now. Baron, a little bit immobile. Yes, he's got some mobility, but against an Erlang Shen and a Pele, he might take a lot of damage this.
You could be taking a lot of damage, but you can still build very tanky, whether that's going to be in the solo or the support role. Looking at it, it's going to be Outwash mid for Athletico, so that's going to be your glass cannon style mid-mage damage. So expect to see a very tanky Baron.
Armada have 1 more pick remaining. What would you like to see locked in here?
Sobek actually isn't too bad of one as they're hovering right now. I was thinking they need a lot more control on their team as they really only have the pen, a very short taunt, and then a couple of knockups here. They really need somebody to be the initiator for this team. I think Sobek's going to really help them out.
Should help them out in this situation for sure. Yeah, I'm looking at Athletico's draft overall and a little bit worried about sieging bases because outside of an Odin jumping in or a Blink, their initiation is kind of lackluster at a Phoenix line here for Athletico.
Yeah, they don't really have many options for Guardians of getting out of the cage, right? Like, you could go, I guess, like Hades support, like, but there's not too many, right? Like, Sobek's going to get trapped in that cage alongside so many Armada members, so I think that they're going to need not 1 but 2 Phantoms throughout the course of this game.
Not going to lie, we made jokes about the Hannah Montana book earlier on, but it's the most successful thing that Oscha have managed to muster, it seems. It's worked out well for them alongside that Shark to get that game 1. Boys, are we going to a game 3? Does Armada come back into this? That's my question to you both.
No game 3.
Really?
No game 3. Atletico close this out today, right now.
I think after that loss for Armada, that's a really hard one to come back from. I think that Atletico might be sealing Oceania's first set win.
You know what, boys? I would love to give it Oceania here, but I really think their lack of frontline is going to hurt them too much this game. Sure, they may control some fights, but it's about sieging bases at the end of the day, and if you can't break a Phoenix, well, you saw it happen in game 1. Let's get to the casters for game 2.
Thanks a lot there, guys. Great breakdown. Really, I think the breakdown in game number 1 was done by Armada themselves, breaking themselves down. Atletico broke them down after successive defensive stops and then walk in and take the base. Taco, you know, I got to be honest, I enjoyed watching that. I sensed you were a little bit mad, and I'm with that. I think that Armada needed to be punished.
Armada had to be punished. I mean, I think I said it all last game, so I don't want to really hinder on things any longer, but moving forward into the secondary match, I do feel like that game 1 turnaround is certainly going to have taken at least a little bit of a blow to the mental state of Armada. That's some rough stuff when you were running things for 30 minutes and then you just come to a standstill because you cannot breach those Phoenixes, and I doubt that Armada really wanted to take those chances yet again, which is why we see the Sobek probably going to have a little bit more frontline capabilities on this Sobek. Sibyl as well with the Erlang. I think that this is a really interesting pickup because Erlang support is one of those guys where you're either going to make it or break it in the duo lane early on. And if Athletico are able to stay stable during this early game portion, then I think that they might be good to go. It's just that there's so many different concerns now from this Armada draft that has a lot of capability to just snowball this game out of control.
This is honestly going to be the Copebby show if his team wins. I really think this is supposed to be, you know, Cope on the Pele. He's got to be the heavy lifter here for Armada, both I think in-game and out.
But that's where it gets the most rough, though, because Cope had such a phenomenal highlight reel game on the Mercury last time around, and it still wasn't enough to bring things home. Now it's Tekzy's turn to try and show Cope what he's got, and Armada with this Mercury pickup Sops, though, with the Soul might provide a couple of complications here for Tekzy. I think Soul's probably one of the safer mages you could opt for against the Mercury.
Yeah, that's certainly true, but I have to point to the biggest difference between Sops on the Soul and Sops on the Zhang Kui is that the teamfight prowess is a little bit different. I think that Soul Ultimate is actually really devastating when it comes down to teamfight time, but Sops was the main teamfight guy. Hold that thought, though, Taco. Sibyl might be on the bad end of things. Tekzy comes through. He's playing the Merc. He wraps him up, and he wraps him down. That's your respawn. First blood. Nice and easy. And Athletico are not taking their foot off of the gas.
About as clean as it can get right there. Simple rotation from Tekzy right around the back end of things. Too soon for any real wards to have been placed very deep inside of the jungle, if at all. And Armada not expecting that rotation. It will end up costing Tekzy his Harpies. I do believe Copebby was able to invade one pair of those Harpies, but still rather have the first blood.
Yeah, exactly. sBennyQ in some trouble. Yeesh, not a great look for Zaze. Sibyl making the rotation. Tekzy is right behind him, though. Zaze, Shank, Tekzy. We just saw this for first blood. This isn't the actual replay. It's live. And Sibyl winds up squeaking out of there. So Athletico can find the secondary kill, but the threat, the pressure, I'm feeling it if I'm Armada.
It's difficult to punish the Erlang there when he goes into the turtle form. At least if he'd gone for the mink form, they had a chance to intercept it. But turtle form, easy knockup. Even with the slows from Shank, he's still going to be able to roll on out of there. Plus the little bit of a health shield is always nice to have.
Let's take a second look at that first blood that Athletico got on the left side. And this is as textbook as it gets.
Tekzy just all the way around the bottom. Saw that the turtle form had already been expended and just goes right in. A couple of auto attacks, special delivery, nothing more to it. It just making it look easy.
Yeah, nice and clean. Athletico, great pathing. Just, I mean, that's the textbook duo lane level 2 gang, right? That's what you're supposed to do. Tekzy looking clean. Last time around on the Erlang Shen, he was looking for the knockups and more of a facilitator. This is time, you know, they enabled Tekzy here.
They're trying to. They want this Mercury to take off. That would be the best case scenario, without a doubt, for Athletico. If your Mercury is able to hyper carry from the mid game and onwards, even before you get out of the early game. But I'm not sure that that'll necessarily be the case. Copebby hasn't exactly shown his face anywhere just yet, but I'm sure he's plotting.
That's curious for a Pele, right?
Not all the way. It seems like Cope's being really greedy and trying to back with a full buy of Warrior Tabi, and I think that's why he was sticking around the mid lane for so long, soaking up some of that XP. Sure enough, full boots, first thing.
Oscha right now on the Baron. Slowed up by Bruh. Bruh doesn't have any friends, so I don't think Osha's going to die here, and he'll be fine. I mean in the area. I'm not attacking Bruh's social circle. I'm sure he has friends outside, but nowhere near the solo lane.
Just gonna leave him like that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Bruh lined up and dined down. Oscha eats off of Tekzy's cook again. Beautiful Merc play.
About as simple as it gets. That's all it really takes. Bruh expends the lurking in the waters for spam damage onto Oscha and a quick lane clear. I think Bruh wanted to back and then use the teleport to come back in. Instead, he's just going to be stuck out of luck because Tekzy was waiting with the Sonic Boom.
Great play. Athletico right now, like I said, they have the momentum.
Who ganks the Sobek at level 5?
That's true. Yeah, it's just a little slippery here. Athletico playing a little bit different. Something we haven't touched on, really. That is the first time a team from the Oceanic region has won a game on the international stage. And something that I've spoken a lot about with respect to this Oceanic region is they're kind of a step behind the other regions because all these regions kind of have their representative. Cope caught out by a stun, but I think that's that. We routinely see Nocturnes. We routinely see, well, Black Dragons, and we mentioned that. The Oceanic region has gone through a couple of top teams, and so Athletico coming in here and being the first to really do that, I think that's a big statement to make, and they don't want to be the team that won a game and lost a set. Athletico say, okay, we took this step forward, now we bout it. We're going to do it.
They're on fire and in the zone right now, and that couldn't be more evident from the player cams alone.
Yeah.
Their play style as well just feels a little bit more confident. I think about halfway through those failed Phoenix Sieges from game 1, Athletico really started to realize the light bulb turned on, and they're like, we can actually win this.
There's a sense of realism to some of these lower-end teams that are saying, like, look, you know, we're going to try our hardest, we're going to have fun here land week, it's an excellent experience. And I think, you know, kind of the acceptability, Athletico convinced themselves in game number 1 that they really are that good. And frankly, Taco, I'm poised to believe them.
Danger, though, for Tekzy. Not wanting to dance with this Pele just yet. That'll be free back harpies for Copebby, and Tekzy gonna 3-man split the mid wave instead. I respect his decision, though, to not want to engage with Cope. I think that for sure Pele has way more damage to purse on a Mercury this early on than Mercury for the turnaround effect.
An understanding of the character. Shank with the bird bomb cutting sops in half. Tekzy thought about it. But yeah, if this is 10, 15 minutes from now, Tekzy takes that fight. But early on, especially with no critical strike, that belongs to Copebby all the time. So Tekzy intelligently shies away from the 1v1 in his own jungle. I like that play as well.
Zaze about 14 stacks behind sBennyQ. We'll be a little bit closer after the wave, but does seem like he struggled a little bit there with backing in time at the same pace of sBennyQ, and that's to be expected up against the Jing Wei. Her passive just a little bit stronger for farm capabilities.
Jose is going to miss the clear wave right there. Not his finest moment for sure.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Making a Z for Zatman.
Or Zaze. He has 2 Z's in his name, Taco.
There's that too.
But mainly for Zat.
Maybe that's a senpai.
It's certainly possible. I actually remember Ro of a lot of these Oceanic players used to play on the NA servers. Ro, who's now coaching one of the North American European teams and has had his own time in the sun on in the Oceanic region. He used to play on NA servers known as DAT 300 Ping Life. So you know, these Oshi players have played on the NA ranked servers. Maybe they have beat up that man before.
Well, he wasn't lying about that 300 ping life. sBennyQ exchanging autos with Zaze, but missing out just a little bit more. Both hunters having the sustain online though, so they can heal up pretty decently off of these waves. It's mostly Zaze though that I think needs to be concerned about the jungler ganks, because sBennyQ has a lot of survivability on the Jing Wei, as we're about to see, and Zaze just gonna get burned out all too quickly there from Copebby. Tekzy though charging the Sonic Boom, thinking about going in, but he's not gonna be able to find Benny.
Yeah, Zaze's way too far up. Athletico's vision is down below. You can see the entrance to the lane right by where Copebby passed by. Armada's vision's up north. So Athletico's carry pushed up that far. Just a dangerous position to be in. And Copebby puts him down. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. Armada on the board.
I think if Zaze wants to play that far up, all that thought though, Sibyl right now, the one in danger. Tekzy with a beautiful Sonic Boom just comes ripping through the backside. And that'll be the end of Copebby.
That's great. They invest a lot to get that kill, but this is the point of the game where they're just kind of all-inning, taking it, and then waiting for the next hand. I respect Athletico kind of playing this step for step. I think there's a world where you look to get that kill with less invested and then directly go to the Gold Fury, but this is kind of safe and sound. And I respect the calculated, meticulous approach to the game.
Also, early on, you're not going to be having these massive team-fighting brawls. You can afford to use 2, 3, sometimes even 4 ultimates just to bring down one strong target.
Right.
And if you want to make Pele that target early on, there is nothing wrong with trying to handicap the Pele from the very start.
Absolutely. You want to kind of prevent her from really getting off to a fantastic start. She's one of the characters that I compare Naja, just very strong in the early to mid. Oh, Sibyl guesses wrong, and Zaze jumps to the right-hand side with a surprise. Drops the stun for the slow, but the momentary stop allows him to get knocked up. Taco, should he have kept walking and not ulted?
I don't think it would have made all that much of a difference. It might have helped out Tekzy and Shank on the return fire, but Zaze was dead by all rights there. It's so hard for a Hou-Yi to stay alive early on, and Regan nicely timed Aegis.
And notably has an Aegis. Ring gonna be dropped. sBennyQ trying to fight, 10, 20, and he's brought down to 0. Shank helps out of the kill. The pings as Pele's making the rotation, and Shank is told to walk away. Tekzy and Shank, again, just invest a bunch, get a kill, walk away. Athletico are looking for these picks. The problem is for Athletico, they're not getting anything off of it. They had first blood, and they have 2 more kills than Armada, but Armada have the same amount of gold.
I think the only thing they could really be pushing for is buffs. I think the buff invades could be really cool to take a look at, but as it currently stands, Athletico has not been planning their engagements or ganks, and the same could be said for Armada too.
Right.
Neither side is really planning their ganks around these buff respawn timers, so I don't think that they really have control over the other's jungle just yet. Copebby has been tending to stray a little bit deeper, as we can see on our screens right now. He's still looking, and Zaze, this is exactly how he needs to be playing into this matchup. As much as he wants to go aggressive against sBennyQ, it's just more beneficial for Athletico that he doesn't continue to get picked. That was a huge gank setup from Tekzy and Shank, and to have found the return kill into sBennyQ helped alleviate a lot of that dual lane pressure.
Yeah, Zaze had some bad positioning earlier in the game, but I think has since remedied it. Zaze and Regan. I'm going to go back to Regan's positioning. I've enjoyed it here as well. And the idea to go for Aegis first. That's not usually the thought process there. Going for Aegis first, I think, is, like I said, it's just not the default, and I think it was a smart play.
sBennyQ running immediately into the jungle, not down the lane towards the tower, into the jungle. You need to get out of that line of sight from the Mercury. And with him standing so close to the front of that tower line, you almost have to wonder, is this sBennyQ trying to challenge the knockup?
Yes. Nice job, sBennyQ. That was really, really intelligently played. It was funny. Yes, I think he missed the wind gust, but he's able to make use of it anyway. Oscha here, 2-on-1, goes to the ultimate, damage from Bruh. Brought down to 40%, heals up, he's good.
But then you remember you're ganking a Baron, and just as tricky as Jing can be to bring down, Baron is, if not the exact same situation.
And look at the build. Oni Hunter's Garb right into the Breastplate of Valor. He's already tanky at 13 minutes. It's going to be tough to take down the Baron. You do chase out both of his relics. Armada come right on back, and that's how you do it. You go in once, you get rid of the relics, you come in the second time and take care of business. 4-3 read the kills. Sob's trying to make that 4-4. Tekzy caught up in the jungle, but he'll be able to walk away no problem. sBennyQ rejoins the left side lane.
Great read by Copebby on that last play too, because he was already assuming that Oscha would try to come back into the lane to look for his standard wave and farm. And I think that had Copebby not chosen to stuck around, that kill never happens. Yeah,
no, that was Cope. Like I said, if Armada want to win game number 2, it has to kind of come from Cope. I think that Cope is one of the more level-headed players on this team. I think that he's one of the stronger players on this team. And I think it's his job to bring his team back into this set mentally and numerically. He's got to be the guy getting the kills, and he's got to be the guy screaming and getting his team back together. Whether he's the loud guy or the soft-spoken guy, I don't care. He just has to get his team re-engaged.
Based off Game 1's performance, though, I would definitely favor Athletico in terms of team fighting synergy. Armada just seemed a little bit more individual mentality in a lot of those aggressive moments, and don't get me wrong, it definitely led to some good kills that then led into future sieges onto structures, but Athletico's ability to have the same target focus might be their main strong suit of this composition that they're running right now, because it's all about Regan and Shank. You just want to trap him inside of the cage, force out any actives with that unleashing of the Crypts, and then let Zaze have a field day.
That's what we've seen for the first 4 kills so far. So Athletico have a play. They're looking to execute. Moving into the Gold Fury is Armada. Gold Fury down to 60%. Athletico filtering in slowly but surely. Not willing to go all the way in. Look at the discipline here from Athletico. They know they don't want to get baited into a bad fight. Instead, they do it on their own terms. Tekzy cuts the line in half. Shank drops the ring, separating Bruh from the rest of his team. Zaze looking for the basics. Can't get him, but Tekzy off the back line. He's going to be taken down. A beautiful bodyguard play by Sibyl.
Sops just interrupting that special delivery that was intended for Bruh to begin with, and now Zaze still chasing out Copebby. Aegis has been forced, but there's still a fight happening on the backside. Oscha, so incredibly healthy. sBennyQ, same can't be said there. but Athletico seem to just be losing track of who they should focus.
Oscha just willing to stick around. Copebby takes care of Shank. Sibyl finds a knockup on Zaze, and now Oscha being controlled by Bra off the top side. Zaze up and down, and he takes one, but Cope takes him first. All members of Athletico sit down. That looked like a great fight for them, Taco. What went wrong for the black and yellow?
The chasing. Athletico chased a little bit too many times. I think we saw Zaze and Tekzy first and foremost when they shifted their attention towards Bra, and then Zaze got distracted by Copebby running out into the mid lane. They just weren't able to finish off those kills. They needed those finalizing blows, and they just did not connect. I'd say it's more a situation of circumstance than anything else. A little bit of luck on Armada's end, too.
I feel that. Really, realistically, what I saw there is Armada lose their tier 1 tower. Almost thought Cope would be able to defend that one. Athletico lose the fight and they lose the gold fury. So Armada find themselves up about 3,000 gold. Athletico, you just complimented them on their ability to play their team fight game. And realistically what happened there was Athletico are a Voltron team, a 5-man unit. Armada are 5 individuals playing ranked mentality, right? Their individual game. Athletico played Armada's game in the position, and that's why Armada won that team fight. They got baited into playing the individual game, and if that's what you're going to do, Armada are going to beat you every time. Athletico have to rely on their team fight and their cohesion.
Well, it all started with Tekzy going bat out of hell to try and bring down Bra. That Sobek was so incredibly low. But when he couldn't get the Meiju look off at the very end because that special delivery was intercepted by Sops, I don't think that was intentional either from Sops. Sops was just hoping to put out some damage to save his boy. He wasn't expecting to be the one wrapped around, but in the end, it ended up being the best case situation.
Talk about a wraparound. Copebby coming all the way from the back line. Regan is as good as dead. And Copebby is the murderer. Tier 2 tower goes down. Cope goes down, though, as Zaze answers back for kill number 6. Armada brings it to double digits, and Shank very low. He's gonna wiggle his way out. Not down by on the Hunter.
Zaze is gonna get tossed and served back into the clutches of Armada. That's gonna be 3 dead already for Athletico. Tekzy and Shank forced to run away back into the safety of their own fountain. A nice push there from Armada. Not only do they get the T2, but they continue expanding upon this experience lead that they have slowly but surely started to develop, and now we're just taking leaps.
So I agree. I think Armada, or excuse me, I think Athletico was supposed to defend that tier 2 tower. I think that was the right call. However, every time you defend your tier 2 tower, you have to look out for the backline flank because that's literally why they lost the fight. Copebby just comes around the back. That said, if you want to extrapolate that situation, that's why we recommend teams not to defend tier 2 and instead to defend on the Phoenix, because you can't get wrapped around from behind like that. Athletico get wiped because Copebby paths better than them.
It's already starting to feel very similar, though, to that Game 1 vibe of Athletico banking everything on these Phoenix defenses.
Yeah.
They have a very strong composition, yet again, for holding out underneath those Firebirds, and it'll be a much better safe haven for Regan.
Hey, see? This is Oscha, this is Athletico adjusting. Oscha is watching that flank now. Cope can't make that flank. And what's actually really funny, Oscha was watching the flank and Tekzy was wrapping around. If Armada stuck there longer, Cope was dead, and we would have seen Athletico push forward. Armada had the discipline to walk away, and I think that was a good look for the minor leaguers.
Athletico just biding their time right now. They're taking whatever farm is left from Armada. I think that they've come to a general understanding that Armada's just got the upper hand over us right now. We might have screwed the Puch a little bit on that Gold Fury engagement, and you just got to take some losses and hold them. And,
you know, if there's any proof that you can win a game from behind and playing, they just did it. They just did it. It's not a tall tale. It's not a story of Cloud9 in Season 1 with a single Vulcan turret shouts to Pretty Prime. It is a big deal looking at what's happening here, where this just happened 30 minutes ago. We can do it again, folks.
Shank already going to drop the Odin cage, a little bit preemptive here. Nice Sonic Boom, but it's not going to catch anybody. Just rips right through the center instead. Bruh's still on the backside, and Regan's been isolated.
sBennyQ picks up Tekzy and Copebby on the backside. sBennyQ picks up Shank. Double kill for the Hunter. That's redemption. And Armada's going to look for the big boy. Fire Giant on the horizon. Athletico can do nothing but retreat.
Oh, you want to know what it is?
Shoot.
sBennyQ bought Aegis.
Yes, I think that is a hint towards the bigger conversation, which realistically...
He's taking it more seriously.
Exactly where I was going to go. I don't think that sBennyQ was all in game number 1. I know it's harsh, and I don't give a damn. I think it's absolutely true. I think Armada's carry. I don't want to put the whole team under the bus. I will absolutely say it about Benny. I don't think he took game number 1 seriously, and Athletico spanked him for it. And now he went, uh-oh, I guess I got to play for real. And now he's buying his relics. I don't see a Frostbound Hammer. I don't see a tier 2 mace. sBennyQ is a strong player in his own right. That's why he found his way on the team for playing like this. Not like he played a game number 1. 22 minutes in, Armada pick up the Gold Fury, and they're 11,000 gold in the lead. Bad luck 13, but everything good luck for them here in game number 2.
And this is all Armada need to be doing. Just quick, calculated plays, taking out every single structure available on the map first, because when you have this much gold to your advantage, that's only going to build even further into being able to control the map. When you have all of the map pressure, Athletico are forced to play defense on their Phoenixes. They are forced to never leave their base, and that's just going to make it an open pathway for Armada to continue taking the Fire Giant, to continue trying to shove in and look for this Titan end.
3 and 2 split here. It's going to be the jungler alongside sops. So Cope and sops can destroy this mid lane Phoenix, just like their hunter sBennyQ can destroy that left side Phoenix. There's threats on both sides, and they're spreading Athletico thin. I like this play from Armada. It's almost always the 4 and 1, but it's a 3 and 2 right now. Bruh going a little bit deep and has his ultimate chased out already. Armada kind of feel like they need to commit, and Shank forces them. Locks 3 in, drops the cribs. Not enough damage. Here comes Oscha to try and turn up. Tekzy puts 1, and Regan puts a dot on that. It's a beautiful kill, and what a surprise. Oschi with another defensive stop, the black and yellow. They did it in game 1, Taco.
And they might be able to do it again here in game 2. Copebby, though, able to spot out Tekzy at the last minute. This should be a pretty quick and easy solo kill, and sure enough, Tekzy punished for looking for that speed buff. Copebby might not be able to strip away the jungle, but he'll be more than happy to take down that Mercury instead.
This is, oh man, it's just so... It just feels like deja vu all over again, to quote a famous New Yorker. Athletico put themselves in a defensive position and don't seem to mind. That's the thing. Look at Shank right here on the screen. He just chilling. Not a big deal.
That's kind of the way to go about it, though. If you're in Athletico's shoes especially, why bother going outside of the base? I mean, if you can get away with these strong Phoenix defenses, there is zero reason to really want to step outside of that territory. They clearly have a lot of strong control underneath these birds, and Armada are going to be the ones who have to throw themselves out of position if they want a chance at them.
Mid lane Phoenix is the target one more time. 100% on the life bar. Hot shots being traded. Nothing of big consequence. Sops tossing out a slow. Bruh trying to stay in the lead. Knockem is good for sBennyQ. Armada seeping in. 90-80% on the burn. There's the ultimate and the ring. Bruh's in trouble. Suns are dropped offensively, and Regan picks up kill number 2. Bruh goes down, but so does the Phoenix. Zaze chasing Cope. He's a big threat here. He takes out Zaze haphazardly with the code from the ultimate. Sibyl gets Oscha. They're going to walk right in here to the Titan. I think this is a little premature here.
No chance. They are not going to want to stick around for much longer. They already got the mid lane Phoenix. that is a huge win, as is for Armada. Breaching the base is always the hardest part, but after you finally take one, that makes it significantly easier to take a second, possibly even the third. Once you have those fire creeps to your advantage shoving in, that's going to be the threat that they needed to get Athletico to force to action first.
Just again, the bird goes down. That's a win for Armada. 2 for 1, even with a team fight. They're up a ton of gold right now. Again, Athletico, need to remind the fans at home, if you're just joining us, this is the best of 3. And in game number 1, Armada ran the game for 35 minutes, and Athletico defended for all of those. And then they come back, win a team fight, and go ahead and take it. Now, it's Armada's game one more time. Athletico are asked to do the impossible for a second time. That said, they do have another game after this. If things do go Armada's way, which again, it looks like it will, they do have a third game.
But Oscha would want to close this one out in a 2-0 fashion for sure. Right now, they've got the big momentum swing. They've got the high of winning their first ever game in a LAN environment, and that is nothing to underlook.
Not at all. Not at all. Fire Giant goes the way of the minor leaguers. And Armada here are in position to walk it on home. Copebby by himself, and I'm fine with that. Pele can take on 1 versus 1. Pele can take on 1 versus 2.
Pele might be able to take on the 1 versus 3 if it's only her versus the carries, but fortunately enough, Athletico do have an Odin and Oscha. I think that is one thing that is certainly hurting Athletico, though. They don't have the beefy front line that they did last time around on these Phoenix defenses. Osha's great with that life of the party, but once that cooldown's been expended, this is not exactly the most tanky god in the world. Baron just relies on being heavy utility and then cleanup crew behind him.
He does have the Loner's Mask, though. He's going to be a little bit tanky. This Phoenix was alive at one point, but no longer. Dashing forward is Bruh. He'll miss the block. Zaze separates himself from the opposition. Missed Ricochet. Mid lane Phoenix still down from before. And Armada up 8 kills, going to shift back onto the battlefield. All 5 of them have Fire Giant. They're thinking about walking up mid, but I want them to go to the left, and that's what they'll do. I think that's the better play.
But Armada are still concerned about whether or not they are actually able to push in for the game ender here. They know that they need at least a couple of picks before they truly feel comfortable with trying to siege Atletico's base.
As we said, this was we just watched the result of Armada being a little bit too trigger happy. Athletico now trying to defend. There's the jump forward from Shank. The ring is going to be strong. Zaze beads is out. The pluck from Bruh. Empty the Crypts comes out. Burn up, burn down. Copebby on the back line. He's going to find the knockup. Tekzy deals with sops, but I said Cope on the back. Down goes Zaze to the hands of the Sobek. Shank gonna jump forward. Sibyl's still here. It's a 3-on-3 as 2 players on each team are down. Nice pluck, nice knockup. Copebby picks up Tekzy. Copebby with the double une. Oscha up top. And Armada, Sibyl, Cope, do they have enough? The answer is yes. We're going to a game 3.
Holy moly, that might have just been the most abrupt game ender that we've seen in quite some time, but Armada knew that this was theirs to take as soon as they ran through from the start. I think that Athletico showed some promise at the very beginning, but in the end, they weren't able to maintain that same level of pacing. They were outmatched by Copebby, and Copebby honestly snapped on that Pele.
Absolutely. As I said, this has to be Copebby's game. He goes ahead, he takes it, and more importantly, on a team level, you can see Cope certainly feeling the brunt of that one. On a team level, I think importantly, Armada identify the fact that, look, last time we didn't have any moments. We have to identify our window of opportunity and jump right on in. That's what they do, and they stretch it to a third game.
And Armada ready to take things on. I do feel like we're going to see a little bit more frontline focus from Athletico. I think that they were feeling maybe a little bit too confident about their draft execution and maybe thinking that they were going to be able to pull that one off and snowball the game early on so that they were never in a position to play Phoenix defense to begin with. And sometimes it just doesn't work out the way that you picture.
Game 2 in the books. Let's break it down with Hindu in the squad.
Armada answer back finally, looking a lot better in that game. And 1 for 1 in this set. I just want you to know these two 0-2.
I don't know what it is. It's the caster's curse, unfortunately. You know, NA not the best, and Smite not the best at predicting games.
Look, we just need to stop questioning the guy who wrote the script.
That's
we
true.
need to stop questioning him.
We always say I write the script. I've never once like shown a script to anybody. You know, that's the thing. Maybe I just make it up as I go. Who knows? This could all be pre-recorded right now. To be fair, if it was pre-recorded, this would not be a 1-1 situation. Let's put it that way, because it's been a long day already. But congratulations to Armada answering back the call. Cope went off on the Pele, Tolly, and caused a lot of problems.
Oh, absolutely. That flank on the very end was beautifully executed between Cope and Bra, finally collapsing on the targets they really need to. Regan was taken out early in that last team fight, and as a result, without that mid-mage damage, they couldn't hold on to their Phoenix.
And this seems to be the story of these two teams so far, J-Mac. Armada unable to siege bases effectively, and then again, Regan on Athletico doing a very good job of his positioning to make it as difficult as possible.
But going with that Tom Clancy flank right at the very end, able to get around to the backline and take down Regan. Sure, they were able to get a kill or two before he fell, but after that, it was just the tank bruh on the Sobek, who I think is probably the best pick that they could have had for this composition.
Here's a look back at some of the plays that Cope managed to make happen on this Pele this time around. Early gets to the duo lane, and this was really sBennyQ doing a pretty good job of baiting. I mean, normally when we say he's baiting, he's just dying, but that time was a good bait.
It was a tactical bait, right? Like putting himself so far out of position that Cope would play cleanup crew, and Cope was all over the place, using the Magma Rush to put himself in proper positioning, trying to blink over the wall there. All of a sudden, he gets dunked on, but able to find the kill. And I think what it also came down to was the fact that you mentioned, Hindu, before the game started, that there wasn't that much frontline presence from Athletico in some of these team fights, and as a result, it was very telegraphed with what they wanted to do, right? Like, once the Empty the Crypts was down, what other poke damage do they really have? Whereas the Vulcan in game number 1 proved to be very fruitful.
Do we expect to see Pele get picked up again?
I expect it to be banned.
That's what I'm thinking too, but at the same time, is it going to be something that Athletico look at and go, okay, ban it away, or maybe look for themselves instead?
I think it depends on where Athletico goes. If they go with the first pick option or the second pick, I think they either ban it or they take it for themselves.
I think that they just can't allow both Pele and Erlang Shen on the same roster. Sibyl with a nice 3-man root during that Phoenix siege. It was a 2-for-2 to start things off, but then Sibyl made it really happen there, and Cope was like, man, that game right there. Thank goodness that they ended it there before 30 minutes, because if they didn't end there, it was probably going to go another 10 additional minutes.
Oh, easily. Well, Cope's demeanor right now is a lot better than what it looked like after game 1. He looked really down in the dumps and that, and we were just talking after that first game too, how difficult it was going to be for Armada to get back into this. With how the situation's been though here, J-Mac, like, Armada's shown some grit and determination to be still in the set.
They really have. They've got the potential for it. It's, again, they've just got to figure out these sieges. It's the same thing as in game number 1. They struggled in the second game. They able to pick it up quicker this time around, but I think that was, again, due to the lack of frontline pressure that Athletico had. Baron Samedi is only going to be able to tank so much damage outside of just the Odin, which he used that cage very early on in the fight and got nothing off of it.
These guys so far, though, as you can see, is a couple of minutes at the bottom of your screen because the play's going to break after 2 games in a row just to freshen up and things like that in case they need the bathroom or such. How important is these few minutes break, Tolly?
Oh, it's important to recollect yourself. Think about what went right, what went wrong, because there were still some good moments from Athletico this game, and I think that another important pick that they kind of took for granted was this Sobek support. The displacement of that plug from Bra is what allowed some of the Phoenix Sieges to be a little cleaner, making it a lot harder for this Odin pick to get in that backline.
I did get a chance to speak to Sharks in between, during that last game as well. He was talking a little bit to me about Tekzy in the jungle and how he really is he emulates and loves Captain Twig and tries to copy everything about him, but he believes he's more of a little bit more of an aggressive player, an adapting style S player. You can kind of see that in his play style here, Tom.
Yeah, game number 1, there was no shortage of him being aggressive. Game number 2, he was still looking for those plays on the Mercury, but with how defensive he needed to be, there needed to be some more counter rotations from the early game to prevent Copebby from popping off the way he did.
We spoke about a lot of players so far. J-Mac, I want you to give me the name of which player on each team you think is going to be the standout individual that has to come up big in this final game.
Regan on the side of Athletico, and I'm looking probably towards Cope on the side of Armada.
So Regan definitely does have to pop off in this next game, but he needs protection around him. So there needs to be a draft to make sure that there's protection, meaning maybe a Gab even to get some Geb shields off, keep your mid-mage alive. But if I'm looking for playmaking from the early game, it's got to be a battle of the jungles. All of Season 5, it's a jungler-driven league.
Yeah, so that's going to be Tekzy then if it's Athletico. Cope across the way as well. And I guess it's up to everybody else to perform to their duties that are required of them. Armada, game 1, had a bit of fun, and it backfired in the face. Game 2, different bit of story there, where Athletico tried to get off to a good start once again. They did from momentarily, but Armada was there to answer the call this time around. Pele causing a lot of problems. The next set of picks and bans, so important for these two teams. If you're just tuning in, this is the final game of day 2, and the loser of this game will go home.